A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for your company this Friday. We want to start off with those developments on the police investigation into an anti-Semitic tirade filmed at a southwest Sydney hospital.
Detectives have reportedly obtained the unedited video and have spent the night studying it ahead of speaking with two nurses at the centre of the saga. Let's go live to today's Sydney reporter, Jack Hahn at Bankstown Hospital. Jack, good morning to you. The Health Department is also investigating.
Yeah, that is correct, Carl. Sarah, good morning to you both. New South Wales Health right now combing over records here at Bankstown Lidcombe Hospital, making sure that Jewish patients have not been deliberately hurt at the hands of the two former nurses that feature in this video. But initial inquiries this morning suggest that the claims were incorrect. Nurses and doctors here at the hospital have been brought to tears over the comments, according to the Health Minister who visited the campus yesterday. Now, overnight there has been a big breakthrough reported. Detectives finally obtaining the raw, unedited video from the Israeli influencer, helping them form a brief of evidence and calculate what charges, if any, could be laid. The Daily Telegraph this morning is claiming that the two nurses that feature in the video have refused to voluntarily be interviewed by officers. But the Police Commissioner here in New South Wales, Karen Webb, has pointed out that detectives have been in touch with the pair's legal team this morning. Carl and Sarah, no arrests, no charges. Police wanting this probe to be watertight.
Jack, thank you.
Tensions with Beijing this morning after a major mid-air near-miss in the South China Sea that risked the lives of up to a dozen Australian defence crew. Today, federal politics reporter Liz Daniels has all those details for us from Parliament House. Liz, the federal government is very concerned.
Highly concerned, Jane. The federal government's now launched an official protest with China over this incident. It was Tuesday afternoon when an RAAF P-8 Poseidon was doing routine surveillance in the South China Sea when it was challenged by two Chinese J-16 fighter jets. One of those fired a flare just 30 metres in front of the Australian aircraft. The Defence Minister saying there's no way the Chinese crew could have maintained control over its flares and that had they hit the P-8 Poseidon, it would have caused significant damage. Fortunately, the 12 crew on board were unharmed, but it has reignited major regional security concerns.
This is an incredibly dangerous and aggressive and provocative act. I think what the government needs to do is publicly dress down the Chinese government.
Now, Jane, the Albanese government's put much time into restoring the relationship with Beijing, but the strengthening of ties has been on the trade side, and this week's dramatic near-miss proves security tensions remain high.
Thank you very much, Liz. A car has ploughed through a crowd in Germany overnight, injuring dozens of people, including young children. 9 Europe correspondent Edward Godfrey is following the story. Edward, the driver of that car has been arrested.
He has, Jane, and police are treating this as an attack. At least 28 people injured when a car was driven through a crowd of people in the heart of Munich. Police say the car was being driven behind a demonstration and then sped up towards the group. Witnesses say it threaded between police cars to get through. It's caused a horrifying scene, the injured and belongings strewn over the road. Children are among those hurt. Officers fired a shot at the car as they swooped on the driver. He was detained. German authorities say he's a 24-year-old Afghan national and an asylum seeker. The motive isn't yet known. The attack has been widely condemned. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz warning the attacker must be punished and must leave the country. It's a painful reminder for Germans. It was less than 2 months ago a car was driven through crowds at a Christmas market in Magdeburg, allegedly by a Saudi national, killing 6 and injuring many more. There are elections later this month and immigration is a hot issue in Germany at the moment. We also have foreign diplomats arriving for the Munich Security Conference this weekend. A very sensitive incident, Jane, especially for the victims, of course, and their families in this incident.
Absolutely, Edward, thank you. A passenger has died after a horror crash in Melbourne's west. Emergency crews were called to the scene in Laverton North just after 10 p.m, where 3 other people from both cars were treated. One driver is this morning being treated in hospital. Police are working to determine what caused that collision. Sydney commuters are being told to brace for train delays after wage negotiations between the union and the state government broke down. Rail workers will today run trains at reduced speeds with disruption expected across the network. This is just the latest chapter of the RTBU's pay dispute, in which it is seeking a 32% pay rise over 4 years. Tropical cyclone Zelia is inching closer to Western Australia this morning and is already wreaking havoc across the state's northwest. Now a Category 5 storm, it is bringing destructive winds up to 320 kilometres an hour and heavy rain up to 500 millimetres to the Pilbara region.
So loud outside, the tree fell and it's blocked off the road, and it was just so stormy last night.
There is a significant threat to lives and property, and I urge people to follow the directions of emergency services.
Zelia is expected to cross the coastline between Port Hedland and Karratha by this evening. A drug lord behind bars after trying to smuggle almost 150 kilograms of methamphetamine into Australia is now expecting a child. For more on this, we go live to Today Melbourne reporter Christine Ahern. Christine, how is this possible?
Jane, via IVF treatment, despite being behind bars in a maximum security prison, 41-year-old Dale David Williams has been able to undergo this treatment, and according to the Herald Sun, it's been successful because his partner on the outside, 33-year-old Keisha Lampy, is now pregnant and expecting their child. Taking to social media to celebrate the news, her mother wrote, happy 33rd birthday. I know you will celebrate this special day differently as you are carrying something very special. Williams is considered a serious organised crime figure. He is currently serving 16 years in prison after being convicted of trying to smuggle 150 kilograms of methamphetamine into Australia. He's also a convicted domestic violence offender against the mother of his twins. In November last year, there was actually outrage when a convicted murderer, Alicia Schiller, was granted permission by the courts to leave prison to undergo IVF treatment to try and become a mum. She's no longer going through with that plan, but there will no doubt be controversy after this latest decision. Jane.
Absolutely, Christine. Thank you. Now to some news just in from the United States. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has been confirmed as the country's health secretary, the latest contentious cabinet pick under President Donald Trump. The 71-year-old will oversee everything from medical research to food safety and public welfare programs. Police now suspect an Australian man started this wild brawl at a popular club in Bali earlier this week. The fight broke out at Finn's Beach Club in Canggu when an Australian man allegedly bumped into a woman who was seated at a table. A 91-year-old grandmother has chased a thief from her Brisbane home after he snuck inside, stealing priceless jewels from her bedroom. Live to Today Queensland reporter Kendall Gilding. Kendall, this is the third time her home has been broken into.
Good morning, Jane. That's right. It was just before 8 a.m. on Wednesday morning when Joanna DeLauren, who goes by the name Yopi, was taking some rubbish outside to her bin. When she returned inside her home, she found a man exiting her bedroom and standing in her hallway, which in itself would have been an absolutely terrifying incident, but nothing stopped this 91-year-old. She approached the man and pried her bag from his hands before chasing him outside. That moment was all captured on a security camera outside her door. She's shouting at the man as he tries to fumble his way down the stairs. He actually dropped one of her wallets on the stairs that he was carrying at the time. Her neighbours heard the commotion and joined in, following this man down the street, but he was too fast and did manage to get away. He took all of her cash and credit cards from all of her wallets, but it's some other treasured possessions that really have Yopi upset. An engagement ring, an eternity ring and a watch that were all given to her by her late husband Bart, who died almost 1 year ago to the day, were all taken by this alleged offender. Items that would mean just about nothing to another person, but to her mean the absolute world. I've spoken with police this morning. They say they're still investigating. They are still appealing for CCTV from any neighbouring properties or people in that area of Holland Park West who may be able to provide further insight into the crime. But so far, no arrests have been made, Jane.
OK, Kendall, thank you.